there. It's a little bit dreary as well here in the Dominican Republic, as these are the matches set tonight, I should say. Puerto Rico, El Salvador, of course, this one, and Costa Rica and Canada. I think that's going to be fairly interesting. Canada is a 1 seed, Costa Rica 2, and Costa Rica has proved to be, you know, pretty competitive with a lot of teams around group stage and so forth. So here are the results for Puerto Rico. Again, just got in to the round of 16 by beating Grenada in the group stage final, and they went on to beat Panama in a bit of a surprise game. 2-0 was the final score in that one. So they move on to the quarterfinals, and of course it's never fun when you run into the 1 seed in El Salvador. El Salvador, much like Mexico, has not conceded a goal so far in this tournament. United States have not either. So you see all those numbers. It's not as lopsided, some of those scores, as, say, the Mexico games. But one thing about El Salvador is they like to possess, and so sometimes they're a little bit slower in their attack. We'll see what happens today, if maybe something changes or if the 1 seed prevails. We'll have procession, national anthems, and starting lineups after this.
Le pedimos ponerse de pie para el himno nacional de Puerto Rico. Mantenerse de pie para el himno nacional de El Salvador.
La vida.
All right, national anthems for both nations as we get set to go. Puerto Rico, El Salvador. In the Concacaf U17 Women's Championship quarterfinals, here are your starting lineups. First for Puerto Rico, Ariana Anderson is back in net, and Maya Burt, who plays on the back line, will be the captain today. Sergio Castro is the head coach for Puerto Rico. Again, a team that barely survived the group, had to play in basically what was the cellar game to move on, got past Grenada, and they haven't looked back since with that 2-0 victory over Panama, solidified a berth into this quarterfinal game. And so everything's changed now. Of course, this is a one-and-done type situation. As you see today, our referee, Cartagena from Guatemala. Two captains burnt on the side. See her there, number 17 for Puerto Rico. And the other captain today is Victoria Sánchez for El Salvador. Plays a big part in what they do in the midfield. In blue with the white stripe across, that's Puerto Rico. And then in all white with a little bit of blue, that's El Salvador. As the referees converge just to talk things over heading into the start of the first half. We'll see the El Salvador starting lineup here. So in net is Alexandra Jimenez. Like I said, Sanchez is the captain. They've got a lot of weapons. Again, this team has not given up a goal yet, and I think that's been the most impressive thing. But in the attack, Sanchez is a great creator. She can finish herself, but a lot of the offense runs through her. This is a team in El Salvador. It's coming off a very, very commanding victory. 10-0, the final score against St. Kitts and Nevis heading into this one. So it wasn't too tough of a first game, and this one will be a little bit more of a challenge, presumably, again against a Puerto Rican team. Has pulled off a bit of an upset against Panama to get here. All right, just about set. Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. Saw the Dominican Republic go down a little bit earlier in the quarterfinals to Mexico. It was a 10-0 final score. The United States took care of business as well on the other side against Jamaica, won that game 4-0. So we know that Mexico and the United States are in the semifinals to be played on Friday. The question is, what teams are going to join them? Of course, someone from this game, and there's one other game going on. It's Canada, Costa Rica, so I'll make sure to update you as soon as I can whenever I see any sort of goals come through on that side. I imagine that one will be pretty tight. All right, first kick, we're off. El Salvador to start. Quickly trying to penetrate that 18 back with Puerto Rico. Again, very different situations for these teams in the group stage. El Salvador won their group pretty handily, beat Guatemala 6-0, Haiti 2-0, Cuba 3-0. As you see, Sergio Castro, the head coach for Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico had some really tough games in the group stage, including losing to Costa Rica 4-1 and the United States 13-0. Yet bounced back, and they've won the last two. In the final one against Grenada, and then, of course, Panama in the round of 16. And really, these are the ones that matter. As long as you get there and keep moving on. Bound to run into a 1 seed at some point. As you see Eric Acuna, the head coach for El Salvador. Sánchez up the middle, sends it wide. Haley Hernandez for El Salvador. Angel controls the left foot, deflected back with Puerto Rico. Some of the heavy hitters are players that score and can be real threats for both teams actually starting in a reserve role. So Anika Berger is potentially going to come in a little bit later for El Salvador. She has a couple goals in this tournament. And then Fabiola Martinez has a couple as well, as that was a dangerous play. Already some early pressure from El Salvador. Again, Ariana Anderson in nets for Puerto Rico. Put in, right towards, unable to get a shot off there. Velasquez has come so close to scoring for El Salvador in that 18 so many times. And finally was able to put 2 through at the very end of the game against St. Kitts and Nevis in the 83rd minute and the 87th minute. Velasquez really did St. Kitts and Nevis, even though that game was well over. And here comes Puerto Rico the other way, trying to make something happen. Krakauer is one of the most dangerous threats on the Puerto Rican side. Krakauer had one of the 2 goals against Panama. Hers was the game winner in the 60th minute, and then the nail in the coffin came from Rachel Baez in the 86th minute, who will start from the bench for Puerto Rico tonight. Usually Baez is the one to take the corners, so might be seeing subs early or just a lot of changes heading into the second half, depending on what happens. Krakauer is way offsides. Right idea, and I like the aggression, but she knew it. Again, Krakauer isn't afraid to shoot from distance too, so be aware of that. Actually a lot of Puerto Rican players are actually living stateside. There's 12 on this roster, Krakauer included. Rolls out for El Salvador. Opening minutes, no great shots for either team. As we see Anderson. What a long way she's come, and must just feel so great. You know, I was on the call of the Puerto Rico United States 13-0 game, and it was just so heartbreaking for Anderson. I thought she stopped a lot of goals. Could have been even more lopsided than it was. And it just seemed like, how do you bounce back from that? Well, Puerto Rico has done such a great job, and again, mentioned 2 in a row. Looking like a completely different team. Little misplayed there. Nieves Melchor for Puerto Rico. Haddock has it swiped. Off the throw-in, trying to get it in the 18. Here's a shot. It bounces off the defender there for El Salvador. Tripping on her way over was Jimenez. But a decent look there from Indigo Sims. Let's take another look at this. Sims gets that first step, takes a shot with her left foot, and it rolls out. It's going to be a corner kick for Puerto Rico, the first set piece opportunity that we've seen for either side. McMahon will take this. In the air towards the back post. Sims was there, but it's headed out. Sánchez got a piece of that. Krakauer cuts through. Up the center. Takeaway. Just pushing Puerto Rico back is El Salvador. Now they cleanly have it. Eva Anderson will throw it in. Sánchez again disrupting. Velasquez trying to make something happen for El Salvador on the left wing. Someone was calling for her. Someone felt like they were open. I could hear someone screaming, Caroline, Caroline. Of course, we know Caroline Velasquez, that's her name. Couldn't see exactly who was feeling that they were open. Ayala, maybe. Carolina Ayala, number 7, is a threat to score as well. Here she is with a corner kick, so mirroring what just happened with Puerto Rico, El Salvador will get a chance. Ayala will take it. Through the air, a little short. Sánchez tries to get there. It's booted out. Angel controls. Quickly back in the 18. Velasquez charging in. Anderson picks it up. Sims fighting for positioning. Hernandez on her back. Puerto Rico ball. Again, Ayala had a goal in the final group stage game against Cuba for El Salvador. Angel. Sánchez. Again, just push forward. Arvalo trying to get there. Cynthia Ramirez for El Salvador. To her back line. Seems like right now what El Salvador is doing is just having those defenders boot it towards the box and trusting that those forwards will be able to create some sort of mishap or get there first, of course. Right to Anderson, though. She'll punt it out. Villa, and locked in a battle, she wins out. Serena Villa will often come up on set pieces. She had a pair of goals in the victory over St. Kitts. Such a weird situation, but Ayala, Villa, and Velasquez all scored twice, so they all got braces. And Ayala scored in minute 1 and minute 4, so back-to-back. Villa, 77, 82, back-to-back. And Velasquez, minute 83 and 87, back-to-back. So just a kind of strange thing where it was like somebody's moment for a 10-minute stretch. Actually, even less than that, pretty much. 5 minutes.
Hold it! Hold it!
Hops around. Velasquez. Ayala turns, squares. Can't control. Arvalo. Angel, Sims, head to head. Puerto Rico ball. Up the middle. Read well. Arvala can't handle. Anjo loses it. Here's a chance for Puerto Rico. Going the opposite way. McMahon goes flying, tumbling down off a clear. Villa was there. Against Serena Villa. El Salvador had, of course, those 3 players with a brace, but then they had 7 different goal scorers in that round of 16 victory. Eva Anderson with the throw-in. Jimenez will take this. Just kidding. Villa is the one to take it. Comes back and takes a goal kick for her keeper. Velasquez charging through. Arvalo wide here for El Salvador. And it's with Puerto Rico. Trip in the midfield. That's going to go against Angel. Took out Quiones for Puerto Rico, Peyton Quiones. Sometimes she'll come in off the bench, but this time she got the start. Just mixing and matching. Of course, there's a lot of soccer being played over the course of just a couple of weeks here. And so you have to give players some rest. And of course, it's a knockout round 2. But here's a shot, and it's a slow roller. Makes his way to Jimenez. Facing some pressure early. Puerto Rico has come out looking pretty strong. Nieves Melchor with that shot. Again, when Puerto Rico played the United States, they did not get a shot off. And it's hard to believe that this is the same team. I mean, El Salvador is a 1 seed as well as the United States, and they've, you know, had similar success, undefeated, all of that. So, you know, I know it's opening minutes, but it's still hard to believe this is the same Puerto Rican team. Sometimes it's just about getting more comfortable. Remember, this is just the U17 level, so for a lot of players, this is their first international experience. A stage like this and a tournament like this. Sims. Up the middle now. Haddock for Puerto Rico with the long ball. McMahon trying to get there first. Jimenez comes way out. She just solves it herself. Up the left flank, Anderson makes a move, gets by Sánchez. Turnover there. Villa boxes out McMahon. Puerto Rico was extra physical in their victory over Panama. Panama does play pretty physically as well, so it was just a game in which there was a lot of yellow cards, 5 total, 3 to Puerto Rico. 19 fouls for Puerto Rico, 17 for Panama. So first of all, a lot of start and stop, and just clearly a high intensity, high collision game, if you will. In the 18, barely. It's going to stay with El Salvador. And remember, El Salvador against St. Kitts scored in minute 1. And then didn't stop scoring. The last goal was scored in the 87th minute. So it was consistent, you know, every couple of minutes a goal. Nieves Melchor up the touchline, swerves past the defender, keeps it with Puerto Rico. Nifty stuff there. You can hear her head coach, Sergio Castro, telling her much better. This group, Puerto Rico, has 3 members of their group in the quarterfinals. United States already survived, so they're in the semis, and Costa Rica and Puerto Rico technically could survive. It could just be a, oh, Nieves Melchor earns a corner. I did not think that was going to turn into much. And Nieves Melchor surging forward, just knocks into the keeper and Jimenez. A little bit of a miscue there with Hernandez. Here's another look. Hernandez had her on her heel, and then a light pass intended for Jimenez. Not enough juice on that one. And Nieves Melchor almost made them pay. Anyway, we could have a group reunion, is what I was about to say. Technically, that's still on the table. Here's a corner for Puerto Rico. Towards the back post, punched out by Jimenez. Nieves Melchor whiffs inside the 18, but Puerto Rico's another chance. Krakauer from deep, lofted out. Like this attack from Puerto Rico early. See the forwards pressing, and that might lend itself to some subs later in this match, but if you're trying to pull off a bit of an upset, you need to be a little bit aggressive, I think. Velasquez tangled up there. She commits the foul, and down in a little bit of pain is Castillo for Puerto Rico. Here, Agayo Castillo. Let's see. Yeah, again, just legs, no ball. Velasquez plays her youth soccer, by the way, in the academy system of the Houston Dynamo, which is an MLS team in the United States. The academy sort of culture is growing a lot in the US, so she's a part of that. Sánchez misses. Sims takes a shot, and it just goes wide. Oh my, for Puerto Rico, that's a great chance. Started with a slip from Sánchez. Might have to see it again. Let's look. Krakauer with a great ball. Krakauer, underrated part of that. Perfect for Sims, doesn't go offside. Takes a shot, and she just leaves it wide. But Puerto Rico with better chances here in the first half than El Salvador. Still in. No one has great position. Velasquez gets it a touch off of Anderson for Puerto Rico. So El Salvador will get the ball. Arvalo keeps it in. 18. Ayala soars that one all the way back towards the track here. Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. Again, all the teams that are relatively close to the Dominican Republic, Haiti, and of course the home country, are out. Sánchez. Right wing. Back to the captain. Velasquez heads it up in the air. Arvalo was there for the rebound. Angel tries to keep it in the 18. It goes out off the leg of Sims. Villa, long ball again. Intended for Velasquez, bounces off a defender. Canone. Sanchez again. Angel, beat out. Has to backtrack. Hernandez in the circle. Up in the air. And they'll say Puerto Rico gets a throw. And Castro right there to direct traffic. Krakauer blocks out. Sims slices it to Krakauer. And a foul is committed by El Salvador. Obviously that Krakauer-Sims duo has been effective, the best shot so far. So you can kind of see Sims on that right wing being a very formidable option for Puerto Rico. All right, a free kick here. Quickly cleared out of trouble for El Salvador. Angel was the one to send it out. Still going to be back with Puerto Rico, though. Amy Angel, youth soccer at the Virginia Development Academy in the United States. So on both sides, there's some players that live stateside but have ties to Puerto Rico or El Salvador in some way. Sims races back those long strides to get there. Right flank. Sanchez and her go tumbling down, and it stays with Sims and Puerto Rico. Krakauer trying to get there. This one lofted to her. Villa's there, heads it out. So they're inching towards the net, Puerto Rico. In Concacaf U17 Women's Championship, we're in the quarterfinal rounds. Winner moves on to the semifinals, take place on Friday. Thrown into Krakauer. Sims heads it forward, still trying to keep it in. Villa all the way back. Velasquez just took a shot to the body, fell down. The tackle keeps it with El Salvador. Pass to no one in particular, though. Oh, nutmeg. Anderson. Villa again. Like many teams, both sides, but because Puerto Rico's been in the attacking third a little bit more recently, it seems like El Salvador is struggling to clear with purpose. Nieves Melchor, Villa on her back, shifts through, the cross goes out. Angel. Sanchez turns on the Jets, disrupted by Krakauer. Sims, Sanchez, barreling into each other. To meet Puerto Rico, Sanchez wants a foul on maybe some shoving after. It seems pretty 50-50. They're both kind of doing it. This has been very evenly matched so far. Again, El Salvador, Puerto Rico. Here's another look at this. Angel just rips Krakauer down from behind. If you're Puerto Rico, you might be a little bit in El Salvador's heads. You can see, you can hear Indigo run the channels, and that's exactly what she does, but white jerseys all over her. Krakauer sends it in. Sims is down right now, off the ball. Definitely saw her go down. And again, she was trying to beat out 2 defenders for El Salvador. Let's see. Got hooked a little bit and then got clipped by Ayala for El Salvador right in the leg. Sims will get some help from Quiones. Obviously, if you're Puerto Rico, you don't want her to force anything, but you would love to have her stay. Looks like she will. Sanchez turns, fires. And the connections just haven't necessarily been there for El Salvador. They're clearly trying to make long passes and, you know, send it from all the way the back line to the forwards, and they haven't quite been successful at that yet. But here's a corner. Ayala will take it. A set piece for El Salvador, trying to get on the board first as we are in the 30th minute of play in the Dominican Republic. Ayala curls that one through. Sanchez denied. Nieves Melchor read that perfectly. I mean, she definitely got kicked in the shin, but that's where you wear the shin guards. Ayala. Again, cut off by Puerto Rico. It seems like, and again, this is just from my opinion, that Puerto Rico realizes that what makes El Salvador go is Sanchez in that center midfield role. And so they're just trying to make it her life as hard as possible right now. But decently successful. Nieves Melchor. Arvalo. Rainbow to Ayala, gets the touch. Can she get a shot off? No. Still has it in the 18. Dumps it behind Hernandez coming forward. Sanchez on the touchline. Nifty move. Sims. Put her body on the line. This does not feel good from distance, though. Anderson makes the grab. That's what Villa can do. She's not afraid to shoot from very deep, and she just went for it there. She'll catch you off the goal line if you're not paying attention. By the way, no score in the Canada-Costa Rica game either, so much more competitive in these night games than the earlier games today. Sims, Ayala involved. I think Sims is going to be pretty exhausted after this half. This game has been obviously back and forth and pretty physical and has consisted a lot of, you know, racing back to get to a spot, especially because El Salvador is attempting these long balls, so it does mean everyone has to sprint back a lot. And also the tackles and the fouls have been pretty consistent. Sánchez, again, just trying to flick it forward. Anderson and her barrel into each other. Here's a shot over the crossbar. Anderson initially saved, and then it hit the top of the crossbar. Oy, that was close. El Salvador, this is the last two shots that they've taken have been kind of a surprise to Anderson. She's been able to get there, but clearly this is a El Salvador team that will shoot from way outside the 18-yard. They're not afraid of that. Have some strength. Let's see this again. Okay, this is very far out for Angel, and that was totally, completely online if it wasn't tipped off by Anderson. Ariana Anderson got that with her fingertips, and it seemed like it was coming with such speed that when she touched it, it kind of sent her back a little bit. And so that felt like it had potential of being one of those goals where, you know, the keeper's falling back, it touches in that way. But nope, she just inches away. Anderson with the save, and they'll take it. Puerto Rico going the other way. Nieves Melchor in the 18. Starts and stops, breaks some ankles, takes a shot, and a save by Jimenez for El Salvador. It would have been a tough angle for Nieves Melchor, but I like the attitude from both of these teams. Now that we're a little more settled into this game, let's start taking some shots. I mean, just totally got Recinos on that. And Jimenez is forced to punch it out, so it's a corner coming for Puerto Rico.
Go closer, go closer, go closer.
In the air towards the back post, nobody there. Sánchez on the goal line, heads it out. Boy, that was a lot of time. It felt like it was just hopping through the air. Slow roller to Jimenez. Sent there by Andrea Haddock. About 10 minutes to go in the first half. And scoreless between Puerto Rico and El Salvador. Angel takes out. All right, so Castro's getting a warning here. Cartagena, the referee today, comes over to give him a warning. You can hear him. But yeah, Angel just took out Haddock there. And so it is Puerto Rico's ball. So Castro's team does get a free kick here. Krakauer. Villafan calling for her teammates up to take the throw in. Here's a chance. Nieves Melchor all alone. Scores for Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico leads 1-0. Nieves Melchor all by herself. Let's take another look at this. Just completely. I mean, she has so much space. A mishap for the defense for El Salvador, and that's the first goal given up by El Salvador in this Concacaf U17 Women's Championship. We'll see how they respond. It's 1-0. Again, Nieves Melchor, that's who scored. Right away, some pressure from El Salvador, bounces to Anderson. Velasquez. Again, this is interesting, just simply because this is not a spot that El Salvador's been in yet so far. They've never been down because they've never allowed a goal. Krakauer, Sánchez. Sánchez runs right into Anderson, who commits a foul. Excuse me, Quiones. That's Quiones who commits a foul. All right, you just heard Castro say, be careful, she can hit it on goal. She can. This is Villa. My jinxter there. Left for Sánchez, takes a shot, and it bounces right to the keeper in Anderson for Puerto Rico. Again, Marilia Nieves Melchor just put Puerto Rico up 1-0. Burnt. El Salvador just fights through it. Velasquez. Defense all over. Quiones got the touch out. That's a great job by Puerto Rico to push, just keep on forcing them wide and towards the touch line and limiting options here. El Salvador will still get a throw in. Ayala can't get it over Sims. There's a big shot for Sánchez. Sails out of play. Sims centers. Krakauer. Here's a chance for retaliation. Arvalo in the 6, just misses. Looks like it deflected off a Puerto Rican defender. But a great opportunity there for Mia Arvalo. See this, has a momentum. The tackle's successful in just kind of forcing her to take an extra step or two. Otherwise, she just keeps on going straight. It allows time for the defense to get back and deflect it. So all in all, a very good defensive play. But now a corner kick here. Towards the back post. Everyone misses. Sims can't quite get it out. Sánchez, one touch off to Angel. Again, way high and way out. I don't necessarily mind El Salvador shooting from outside the 18. I just think that obviously most teams are at their best when they can create some, crosses and touches inside the box. That's not happening as much for El Salvador, and that's credit to Puerto Rico. All right, so the first sub that we'll see, Sotelo will come in. Ines Sotelo, and that will take Velasquez out. So that's the first sub for El Salvador, which I'm not too surprised that we're going to see changes. Just because of the intensity, physicality of this game, and just how much, like I said earlier, acceleration, sprinting that there's been. We're probably going to see a lot of forwards change as Sims takes a hip check from Angel, and a free kick is coming. Sims, while she has played very well, might not last the whole 90 because she's been taking shots like this a lot. Oh, she got pushed and hip checked.
Maya, put it on the back. Hey, on the back of the center back. Eva!
It would be nice for Puerto Rico, I'm sure, to get a safety net here. Not a great look off that free kick. Villa. Gionis switches fields. Left wing. McMahon. Forced to the corner. Makes a move past Villa. Chance for a cross. The corner's coming. No option there, but Racino's had to slide. Otherwise, that's a cross left right in front of the net. McMahon will take the corner. Left a little short, bobbled about Sims, and a save by Jimenez. Off the volley. Remember, it is extremely humid in Dominican Republic. Thought maybe at this point we'd have some rain, but no. And so it is just 82 degrees, but mostly humidity, so it feels a lot hotter than that. So that adds to just exhaustion here. Also keep in mind that this is game number 5 in a short amount of time for both of these countries. Sims, first touch. Slices through, Sims up the middle, Jimenez comes out, blocks it. Off the rebound, McMahon. Jimenez was off her goal line, able to rush back. Krakauer. Angel with that tackle. Puerto Rican player down, it's Anderson, it looks like. 2 minutes of stoppage time. Throw in Puerto Rico. Just walks a couple steps and we'll do it again. This is Anderson. She just went down. I think everyone's feeling it a little bit. We didn't have a hydration break, which we had in the first games, which I understand it's day games and stuff, but it's still pretty hot. Looking for one final push here from El Salvador. Sotelo, by the way, remember, she just came in for Velasquez. Angel. Krakauer tangled up. He's going to get it. Angel pushes it back. And that's a final whistle here in the first half. So we have one goal, and it's from Puerto Rico. Nieves Melchor puts his Puerto Rican team up 1-0, the first goal given up by El Salvador as we are in halftime. We'll see what happens in the second. Highlights after this. Concacaf Women's Under-17 Championship quarterfinal round. Puerto Rico taking on the #1 seed in El Salvador, or one of the 1 seeds in El Salvador. And El Salvador immediately took a couple of shots, but it was Puerto Rico with the best look. So here's Krakauer, leaves it for Sims, just wide. Loved the idea though, as this game was pretty intensely physical, and then why not? That's from the midfield, literally. Villa has so much strength on her shot, and that just showcased it all. Angel here for El Salvador, lets it rip as well. That's the best look for El Salvador, but Anderson denies. Just got a piece of that with her fingertips. Look how this ball sends her backwards. She still saves it. And then here comes Puerto Rico again. Breaking some ankles. Nieves Melchor and a diving save by Jimenez. Didn't have a great angle there, but I love the move. And again, that save from Jimenez. And then Nieves Melchor, she's not done. Breakaway, finish. Puerto Rico goes up 1-0, just left all alone. I don't know what happened. A complete lapse by the defense there. A great ball left for Nieves Melchor. Jimenez doesn't have much of a chance. And it's 1-0 Puerto Rico. So a bit of a surprise score at halftime here, as that was a late first half goal between Puerto Rico and El Salvador. One more highlight here, as you see this great look, just wide. And honestly, credit to this defense, particularly to Anderson, the keeper, and to the defender there for Puerto Rico, Colin Gonzalez, for making that a harder shot than initially looked like it would be. So, again, 1-0 is the score at halftime in the quarterfinals here of the Concacaf Under-17 Championship between Puerto Rico and El Salvador. Just a slight lead for Puerto Rico. You see, most things are fairly even. In fact, El Salvador technically has more shots, but Puerto Rico has more quality shots with 4 shots on goal. And you see the possession time fairly even as well. So we'll see what happens here. El Salvador, again, has obviously not lost. If they lose, they go home. A lot on the line coming up after the break in the second half. Concacaf Women's Under-17 Championship.
I went from maybe I can to I know I will. From isn't she cute to fight. Coaches who seem stuck on we can now say we did. From women's football to every 90 minutes, I'm reminded we belong.
Seguridad, dale, vamos.
Start of the second half between Puerto Rico and El Salvador. It's a 1-0 lead. Puerto Rico struck first in the first half, 37th minute. Nieves Melchor put the Puerto Rican team on the board right now. So El Salvador playing from behind for the first time in the Concacaf U17 Women's Championship. Winner moves on to the semifinals. Loser goes home. A lot on the line in this one, as looks like Sánchez was just tying her shoe there, not down. Arvalo looks for positioning. Kept with El Salvador. Ayala trips up, no call. Her and Sims have kind of been going head to head. Angel and Sims, here's Angel. Ayala up the left side, slides to keep it forward, no one there to help her out. Out on the touchline. Throwing for Puerto Rico. Sims touches it back. Castillo for Puerto Rico. Little triangle action. Sims with a big boot towards the midfield, intended for Krakauer. Angel gets it right back, curling around. Sánchez fighting for it. She's got it here. Tries to take a shot, and really she just, as she sails one over. I don't know what defender just got the brunt of that, but she just basically shot into someone's body. And then she got a good second chance there. Just a crunch it made. Anderson has been stellar in net so far for Puerto Rico. We'll see if that continues in the second half. Krakauer squares, surveys. She's got Sims. Leaves it wide for Sims. Takes a shot across. Nieves Melchor just too high. Oh man, what a look for Puerto Rico, and it doesn't result in a goal. Just trying to chip it high. Man, that's a great feed from Sims, by the way, and it was open. Puerto Rico with it right back, tangled up, out of play. See this again. Oh man. I guess it just came up too high off her foot. It wasn't intentional or anything, but you could see the reaction there from Nieves Melchor. She's the one that has the goal right now. It could have been a brace for her, and Puerto Rico could have, been a little bit more comfortable here against a team in El Salvador that has scored as many as 6 goals in this Concacaf tournament. So it's not like they can't score. Castro with a punch there, the Puerto Rican head coach. Anderson will throw it in. Nieves Melchor touches it back to Anderson. Keeps it in, forces it out. Did it go off Recinos? Did. So she'll just move a couple yards down and do the throw in again. Anderson. Service in. Nieves Melchor. Still with Puerto Rico. Quiones. Sims again. Not quite as much separation there for Nieves Melchor. Krakauer lets it rip. Off left. Nice move. Just some handles there from Krakauer. El Salvador back the other way. Arvalo. Quiones beats her. They both fall. And it's going to be El Salvador ball. Arvalo wants a foul. She's just motioning to say that Quiones tugged her. I don't know. Seemed like, once again, it seemed pretty. It seemed like both players were involved. Krakauer. Nieves Melchor cheating up a little. Yes, a lot. Offside. Angel off her chin. Here's a chance. Arvalo alone gets it by Anderson, but it took a bounce wide. Anderson has time to get set back in net. Ricochets all around. These Puerto Rican defenders are really putting their bodies on the line here. Anderson again. Lots been played on this left side. As I say that, Angel puts it towards the middle. Ayala. Arvalo. Change of direction. Cynthia Ramirez for El Salvador. Earns a throw-in. Ayala. Cross. Sotelo. Sánchez from deep. Here's Sánchez controlling at her feet. Nearly falls down. Puerto Rico reads well. Krakauer up the left side. Starts, stops. Searching for options. Takes a shot herself. And diving to make sure that was officially out was Jimenez. Well, that's a little bit of what El Salvador's been doing. Taking a shot from distance with her right foot. You see how that actually curls maybe more than it needed to. Or definitely more than it needed to, but Jimenez decided, I gotta be extra cautious here. And as a result, there is a corner kick. They opt for the long or short option. Krakauer takes the shot, sailing over, just lands on top of the net. That seemed like it had the texture to drop in. Just a little bit too much. But Krakauer seems poised for a score here if El Salvador is not careful. Villa. Krakauer gets it right back. Ball's loose. Who's going to get there? Anderson. Taps off an El Salvador midfielder in Arvalo. Sotelo was in the mix for El Salvador as well. Again, she came in actually in the first half to take out Velasquez. Arvalo. Ayala here. Quiones bodies that. Back with El Salvador. Bobble to Anderson. A good job by the defense there to just guard the ball on the way to the keeper. Especially with some of these forwards like Ayala and company. They will make you pay for any sort of mishap. Again, Mexico and the United States already won earlier today. Mexico 10-0, United States 4-0, so they're already in the semifinals. It's just about who's going to win tonight and join them. They'll play Friday. And Costa Rica and Canada are playing right now as well. Of course, this game's 1-0. Both games are extremely close. Costa Rica and Canada don't have a score yet, as far as I can see. So, I mean, I think that these night games just a little bit more fun, closer competition, etc. Sims. Out on her. Shots actually in favor of El Salvador, 10-8. And again, yeah, it's Puerto Rico that is winning right now because of basically a breakaway by Nieves Melchor in the first half. Arvalo bumped out. Burt got in front there for Puerto Rico, Maya Burt. Anderson leaves it a little too far in front. Heard those screeches of, ooh, could that potentially go to us? Angel. Push from behind by Nieves Melchor. Ooh, no, they'll say Angel's the one in the wrong. No, I'm right. Gotta trust thy instincts. Sometimes you forget which way everyone's going after the shift of halftime, but it is with El Salvador. It was Nieves Melchor who committed the foul. Krakauer on the heel there, just giving Villafan all she can handle. Villafan will throw it in. Couple of touches, McMahon with some space up the middle. She's got two options, right and left. Goes with Sims on the right wing. Maybe a little too crowded. Turn stops, looking for options. Looks like Racinos that just went tumbling down to the green. Holding her right ankle is Racinos there. Key part of the back line for El Salvador. Let's see. I mean, she went flying. I don't think there was much of a foul committed, but didn't see exactly what happened. Looks like she's up and ready to go. Sent in the 18. Krakauer pushes it in the air. Out left. Anderson makes a move. Shades to her right. Shifts back left. Takes a shot. Streaking in towards that back post with Sims. Kept in though. Here's a shot. And sliding down to the ground in the process of the miss was Andrea Haddock. By the way, Canada just scored, so Canada's up 1-0 on Costa Rica right now. Jamie Perreault scored for Canada. Indigo, a little hesitation move. The cross. McMahon gets hooked there, can't quite get the angle. And it's back with El Salvador. No, Quiones comes through. Sánchez fighting for it. Muscles her way through. Racinos with the big boot. Sotelo. All right, we're 16 minutes in and it's still 1-0. The lone goal in the 37th minute from Nieves Melchor. Floats up, turn square, Sotelo, and it's a rainbow right to Anderson. We've only seen that one sub for El Salvador. I would not be surprised if we start seeing some changes soon. Quiones. But maybe if you're Puerto Rico, you just want to kind of ride the wave right now and just keep doing what's working. So maybe too many subs would be detrimental. So they might just leave the majority in. At some point, though, they'll have to get somewhere out. Left for Nieves Melchor. She hesitates. She doesn't want to go offside. And again, I know, Puerto Rico had the best opportunity in the second half that we've seen so far. A cross from Sims wide open was Nieves Melchor, and she just tipped it high above the crossbar, but she was open essentially on the goal line just for a tap in, and it didn't quite work out. Ramirez here for El Salvador. Back to Anderson again. Angel. Ramirez. Quiones disrupts a little bit. Sanchez can't control. Here's Angel again. Got some room. Anderson guarding. Arvalo. McMahon. Krakauer. Left flank. Fights through Villa. Nieves Melchor. Again, just pure power here. Keep possession. Here's a drive, but it's off. Jonas there for Puerto Rico. Villa will take the goal kick because she's got the strongest leg. McMahon, Krakauer. Sims in the 18. Sims! Puerto Rico goes up 2-0. Indigo Sims. Again, Puerto Rico is not taking their foot off the gas here in the second half. Look just as crisp and clean as the first half. Look at this, it starts from Krakauer. This is a fantastic ball, you can't underestimate that. And then Sims with a fantastic finish, cuts through two defenders. Look at her, left foot. Simply perfect here for Puerto Rico. Honestly, it's so crazy that this team lost 13-0 to the United States. And the way they're playing, they might get another crack at the United States. Sims, lots of love from her teammates. She's going to exit the game. A deserved break for Indigo Sims, who just gave Puerto Rico some cushion. Luzio will come in. Valeria Luzio for Puerto Rico. And again, after not giving up any goals going into this game, El Salvador gives up a pair to Puerto Rico. Again, this is a Puerto Rican team that barely survived and got to the group stage. And now they're potentially looking at 3 straight victories. You never know how things change, and some teams play better under pressure. And if you think about it, for Puerto Rico, their last 3 games have been pressure. Of course, their final game of group stage was actually an elimination game, because if they lost that game, then they were out and Grenada moved on, won that. Obviously, everything else has been knockout, one and done. And so maybe they just needed the pressure a little bit more. Still plenty of time for El Salvador and their lightning fast offense to figure it out, but it has to be a little bit demoralizing. Service in to the 18. Quiones flying up. We'll have a sub come in for El Salvador. Medina comes in, that's Brianna Medina. And she will take out Cassandra Villafan.
No sale.
Sánchez. And El Salvador has at least 23 minutes. And so I think this is the point, especially, you know, U17 level and stuff. Like, you feel as though you have to rush something, and you don't. You don't. They absolutely have lots of scoring threats still on the pitch right now. It's just about utilizing. But like I said, it appeared the game plan from Castro and company going into this game was try to eliminate Sánchez and her ability to create. And that's been the difference. That's been the difference. You just saw it, Sánchez, there are 2 defenders all over her. Anytime she has it, they're most concerned about her. Recinos, Angel, goes wide. Big knock forward. Left flank kept in, no. Oh, I guess it was. El Salvador will throw it in. Burr sends it out. Do it again. Haley Hernandez comes up. McMahon off to the races. Sánchez with an illegal tackle there. Again, got more leg than she got ball. She's going to get a yellow card. Victoria Sánchez with the first yellow card that we've seen tonight in this one. Yeah. A little bit of frustration, I think, seeping over for El Salvador. Sánchez is the captain for this team. And it's one thing to be down 1-0. It's another thing to have given up 2 straight goals and not really been able to get too many quality looks. Offside. Krakauer ahead of everybody. Well, I mean, it's a good leading pass and honestly pretty on point. So just Krakauer cheated just a tad. She wasn't egregiously offside. McMahon, 360 action. Stays with Puerto Rico. More physical play, this time Andrea Haddock for Puerto Rico. So it's El Salvador ball as Acuna, head coach for El Salvador. See what he's got, his team's got left in the tank. Recinos, low. Ayala pokes it out. Sánchez circles, leaves it ahead. All the way above the crossbar there for Medina, the new sub. I think she was very worried about going offside. In turn, it ended up being a little bit awkward. By the way, Canada is up 3-0 on Costa Rica right now. Canada just literally seconds ago scored. So it seems like Canada, United States, and Mexico punching their tickets. Those are all the 1 seeds. So I'll chalk if you're just going favorites. But then this could be the game with a little bit of a surprise. Again, El Salvador not too far off. A comeback would not be unheard of at all. And again, I talked about what they did last week where it was just players scoring within minutes. Back-to-back goals each. They'll need some of that energy moving forward in this one. And that was, of course, against a little bit less of a formidable opponent in St. Kitts. Sánchez. Keeps on going, Hearn McMahon. It's with El Salvador.
Stay there. Don't move. Press.
Sotelo beat out to it. A little too far behind Krakauer there from Paddock. That one too far behind Medina. And despite her best efforts, it's Puerto Rico ball. Again, it's 2-0 because of a goal in the first half. We have Melchor for Puerto Rico, and then a second half finish from Indigo Sims. Indigo Sims was lifted from the game. She scored in the 65th minute and immediately came off. So that's how we got where we are. Puerto Rico up 2-0.
Ball thing.
Well done.
And obviously, if you are Puerto Rico, the clock is your friend right now. As Castro high-fives McMahon, he has to be pleased with his team's performance and effort tonight. It's been truly, if there was an award for most improved team in this tournament, Puerto Rico would absolutely get it.
Yes.
McMahon. Little over-the-shoulder check from Colin Gonzalez. Ayala. Medina. Here's Angel. Angel has some space, puts it on target. Anderson dives, bobbles, and pulls it in.
Keep it. Ariana.
Anderson comes out.
Well done.
Really good performance by Anderson too, especially on that Angel goal, potential goal. Wasn't an actual goal because Anderson just got it with her fingertips to push it over the crossbar. Sometimes in order to, win a game, as the saying goes, you need your keeper to make one huge save. And that would potentially be the one here. Puerto Rico survives. I have a feeling, though, with the way El Salvador's attack is going, they're going to take a couple more quality shots before time runs out. A sub for Puerto Rico on its way. Man comes out, and Rachel Baez comes in. And Baez scored in the 86th minute in the last game for Puerto Rico in the 2-0 victory over Panama. Just something to keep in mind. She's not adverse to late game heroics. Choppy in the midfield. Baez. Often she was the one to take corners in some of the earlier matches for Puerto Rico. But maybe Acuna likes her spark off the bench. Krakauer down on the green, play on. Angel this time gets taken out. And referee Cartagena runs up to make sure there's nothing after the fact. Krakauer gets a warning. This is, I think, almost a little bit of retaliation for the prior moment. In the box, Sánchez drifting. Anderson grabs. Puerto Rico earning it right back. And I think obviously so much is going to go to those Sims and Nieves Melchor goals, and should, but the defense has been so stifling for Puerto Rico. El Salvador has just not been able to penetrate into the 18 too much, and when they're in there, their shots are getting deflected. Puerto Rico's going to have a ton of bruises tomorrow, by the way. But all of the best looks for El Salvador have come outside the 18, which are not, high percentage shots. So whatever changes have been made for Puerto Rico in the last couple of days have been extremely effective. Tello operates here for El Salvador. Whoops. Angel. In the 18, Sánchez. No whistle there. I think both sides wanted some sort of foul. But you see there now El Salvador a little bit in their own way because Sánchez just got basically blocked by her own teammate. Krakauer. Nifty move, another one. Breaking ankles, Krakauer, 3 ankles broken, takes a shot. It's over the top, but boy, if she had just kept on going. Yeah, Sánchez was going left, and she just went right into Arvelo, who then in turn went into Castillo for Puerto Rico. And here's Krakauer's move. Just saw it briefly, but literally just got 3 people stumbling to the ground. It the only thing could have been on SportsCenter tonight, honestly, if she had scored. Baez. Krakauer. Out of nowhere, Quiones wins it back for Puerto Rico. Here's a chance in the 18. A shot put on. That would have, any sort of goal here, I think, for Puerto Rico puts El Salvador away for good. Nevis Melchor. 82nd minute here. Time's a ticking. If you're El Salvador, it's 2-0. Puerto Rico leads. We'll have a new keeper come in. All right, so Valenzuela is going to come in for Jimenez for Puerto Rico. They'll make a keeper swap late in the game. Or excuse me, this is for El Salvador. Just to be clear, we put that, I guess that is for, it's El Salvador. That made a keeper change. So Jimenez comes out, Valenzuela comes in for El Salvador. Got a couple more subs as well. Ayala up the middle, tackle from behind, illegally. El Salvador wants to go quick. Yeah, plenty of space and basically just sideswiped her. Did Haddock there. Sánchez, Medina. Cross, not enough juice on it. Baez turns around, back towards the midfield. Here's Sánchez. Ramirez, Sánchez again. Splits the D. All over her is Puerto Rico, playing some defense, doing it well, Nevis Melchor. High in the air. That will waste some time. Ping pong around. A clear possession for either team. Now Baez. Krakauer. She's got so much speed. I don't know how she got there. And now Puerto Rico moves into their attacking third, which again is promising for this Puerto Rican national team. That's what you want to do. Just waste as much time as you possibly can. I mean, obviously you take a shot and a quality look if it's there. All right, El Salvador just going quickly here. Sánchez straight to net. Anderson hauls it in. Medina.
Keep it in, keep it in, keep it in.
You can see the urgency for El Salvador. It would take a lot to score two, but again, it's not the craziest thing. Of course, we'll have stoppage time, although I don't think we're gonna have a lot of stoppage time because this game has been without a lot of pauses. Subs for Puerto Rico. Lopez, Alejandro Lopez will come in. Nevis Melchor, well-deserved break. Right now, she is a game winner. And one more sub, Aaliyah Rivera. Takes out Krakauer. No, that's not right. Krakauer's still there. So that graphic's wrong. Sánchez. Ooh, back pose. She took out Anderson in the process. but it's over the top.
Calma, calma, calma. Profe, cambio fue mal, lo anunció mal. Hicieron un mal cambio.
Espérate, sigue el juego.
Rivera heads it down. Concacaf. Here she is again. Leah Rivera takes off. Sinos gets it back here for El Salvador. Less than 3 minutes to go in regulation. Puerto Rico gets it right back.
Esa es mala sustitución. La que sale la 16. La 16, sale la 16. La 16, es esa sale.
Oh, we have a player down for Puerto Rico.
La 16 sale y entonces la que sale.
Racino's wanted to make sure that time had stopped. Krakauer just went down. She says she's all right. I think she's just exhausted, and I understand. She's been at point for this, the bulk of the game. No, the entire game till right now. And she's, like I said, this game has been back and forth, lots of running up and down. No one's dominated possession time. I wouldn't say Puerto Rico has. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if it's 50-50 or less than that in favor of El Salvador. And so, honestly, it's just those two really solid stretches for Puerto Rico offensively, and then fantastic defense that starts from the forward spots like Krakauer, just disrupting everything that El Salvador, any sort of rhythm El Salvador has attempted to get in, has been unsuccessful. Sánchez, defense on her back, on Hell to Villa, off target. Medina, Cynthia Ramirez centers, just bouncing around the midfield here. Yet again, see Puerto Rico, they're not making it easy, that's for sure. Angel, denied. Quiones got in front. Up the left flank here. Baez can't keep it in. All the way back, Burnt, facing the pressure. Sotelo trying to make something happen. All right, we'll have stoppage time, but it's not going to be a lot. 2 minutes of stoppage time here. Puerto Rico, El Salvador. Quarterfinals here in the Concacaf U17 Women's Championship. Anderson jukes out a defender. Baez pushed out of play by Ramirez, but it last touched her, so it's El Salvador ball. Not quite a corner for El Salvador, just a tough throw. So Tello takes it, hops over. Ayala sends it out. Villa, one bounce, covered up by Anderson. Now she's gonna take her time. still a 3-0 score in the Canada-Costa Rica game. It seems like Canada will move on to semifinals on Friday. Lopez with a little push there. Trying to get into the 18. Angel. Medina into the 18. And that's the final whistle. Puerto Rico upsets El Salvador. 2-0 the final score. For the first time, El Salvador gives up a goal and then they give up another one. And Puerto Rico's moving on to the semifinals on Friday. El Salvador's time in the Concacaf Women's Under-17 Championship is done. We'll take
Estoy aquí con jugadora número 2, Andrea, de Puerto Rico. Andrea, ganaron el partido de hoy y con esta victoria están clasificados como uno de los 4 mejores equipos de la sub-17 femenil de Concacaf. ¿Qué significa esto para ti?
Bueno, pues esto significa mucho para nosotras, ya que en el poco tiempo que llevamos jugando juntas lo hemos hecho súper bien y estamos haciendo historia. Sé que vamos a seguir hacia adelante todas unidas y nos sentimos súper orgullosas.
¿Cómo va a ser la preparación para los partidos que vienen?
Pues seguimos enfocadas, todas unidas, cada práctica vamos a seguir practicando las cosas que necesitamos mejorar y sé que vamos a hacer historia.
Muchas gracias. Estamos aquí con Hailey Hernández de El Salvador. Hailey, lograron superar la etapa de grupo y llegar a cuarto de finales y competir en la premundial y representar a El Salvador. ¿Qué ha representado esto para ti?
Perdón, soy muy contenta a representar mi país y yo creo que sí logramos mucho y sí punimos como todo y sí tratamos, pero así es a veces.
Dime algo que has aprendido durante este torneo.
¿Aprendido? No sé qué.
Ok, está bien, gracias. No, it's okay.
All right, we'll take a look at the highlights here. Concacaf U17 Women's Championship. Start out El Salvador, Puerto Rico. Winner moves on to the semifinal. El Salvador with a quick bump. And then Puerto Rico, Sims has a great chance here in the first half, and it just goes wide. Indigo Sims with a lovely little shot. Just a bit off target there. Just doesn't give up on the play, Sims. You saw her create that. And then Villa from literally the midfield takes a shot deflected off of Sims, and Villa honestly almost makes that. That's Carly Lloyd-esque. Meanwhile, Angel the other way. This is the best scoring opportunity for El Salvador, but Anderson denies. From outside the 18, just got it with her fingertips enough. Keeper there for Puerto Rico, and then Jimenez on the other side gets things done for El Salvador. Nieves Melchor with the shot, tough angle there, but again, Jimenez makes a save. Well, Nieves Melchor, she's not done. Just floats one in. The defense completely lost her there. Nieves Melchor all alone, bounces it home. It's a 1-0 lead. This is all the first half, by the way. Puerto Rico's up, and that's the first goal that El Salvador had given up in this CONCACAF tournament so far. So that's, again, the first half. We start the second. El Salvador's going the other way. One final look, disrupted. Look at the two defenders that got in. Yeah, so Arvelo slicing through. And I think it's that final defender in Anderson that makes all the difference. This is actually the start of the second half. That was one final look for El Salvador in the first. Now we start the second. Back and forth. Sims has a look here, creates some separation, crosses it. Nieves Melchor, too much. Sails it over the top. Again, Sims creates beautiful cross, wide open, and yet it doesn't go in. And it seems like something like that can really take you out of a game. As Krakauer, shifty move, she's off target again. Puerto Rico just doesn't give up though. And here Sims just takes a shot herself. Look at that. Krakauer, by the way, leaves that ball perfectly for Sims. One touch, left foot, buries it. The assist for Krakauer, the finish for Sims, and Indigo Sims gives Puerto Rico a 2-0 lead. One more look at this goal. It's just so pretty. Look at it for a fourth time. El Salvador back the other way, down 2 now. Sánchez sliding, takes out Anderson in the process. Anderson was off her goal line to try to get there. If it was cut just an inch over, it would have been a score. But regardless, a 2-0 victory for Puerto Rico, a team that could barely get out of the group stage. And look at them now, going to the semifinals. They'll join Canada, United States, and Mexico in the semifinals. That takes place on Friday. Here are the final stats for you in this game. See the shots really actually more in favor of El Salvador. Same with shots on target. And El Salvador possessed more in this game, but the difference is that Puerto Rico finished more. 2-0, the final score. Puerto Rico beats El Salvador. Again, the semifinals are on Friday. Mexico, United States, Puerto Rico, and Canada have punched their tickets to move on. 3 of those teams will punch their tickets to the World Cup in India later this year. I'm Maura Sheridan saying so long from the Dominican Republic. Have a great night, everybody. We'll just one more time look at those final results. Mexico 10-0, United States 4-0. So those games were not very competitive. And then we'll take one final look at the contest tonight, I should say. Again, of course, this final score was 2-0, and Canada takes care of business against Costa Rica 3-0. So those are your finals, and like I said, those 4 teams move on to Friday's matches. Again, I'll say so long from the Dominican Republic. Have a great rest of your night, everyone.